Okay, you can cue the fog and light machines. Go ahead. The laser, the no giant inflatable pig, nothing? We got nothing? All right. It's all right. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Baby, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. 3 little birds were by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody pure and true, singing, "This is my message to you. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Baby, 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 don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? Woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. 3 little birds were by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody pure and true, singing, "This is my message to you. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Baby, baby, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Yes, everything is gonna be all right." I've been planting seeds on the ground, watering them with my sweat and tears, scattering them all around. Guess it's what I'm supposed to do with my years. The funny thing is, I may know what I've planted, but never what will show. It always seems to be a perfect mystery. Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, what's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing more. Ooh, sometimes I still like to pretend I know what the harvest will be, but I always find out in the end it was never really up to me. The funny thing is, when I just do my work and simply trust. It always seems that life is looking out for me. Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, what's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing more. And I am only one of billions of seeds. When all is said and done, I just do what's mine to do and let it be. Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, what's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds. Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, what's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing more. When my hands were emptied, when my hope was gone, I couldn't help but wonder, what had I done wrong? But even though my heart was broken, there was no need to despair, 'cause a vessel must be open to put something better there. Oh yeah. Into my empty hands, gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. So forgive me when I doubt it. I admit sometimes I do. Or consider giving up 'cause I cannot see the truth. I know I'll never go without it. Your deep and abiding love, oh love. Into my empty hands, gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. and I cannot help but cry to think of the gifts you've given me. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. So thank you for mine. And thank you for mine. Thank you for my empty hands. Do 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 do. Want to sing that with me? Do 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 do. Shouldn't I be grown up by now? Shouldn't I have finally figured out a few things? I ain't a kid anymore. Didn't I go through this back then? Why the hell do I need to again? Who said time was a cure? For a minute I'm the man that I wanna be, then up comes some adult non-emergency, and my costume comes apart. And I've lost count of the steps and the slips and bad habits I was sure would lose their grip, but still clinging to my heart. And I'm wondering why I learn and I forget. Yeah, I learn and I forget. Oh, I learn like I'm just getting started. Why do I learn and I forget? Yeah, I learn and I forget. Oh, I learn that life ain't for the faint-hearted. Do 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 do. Oh, I wish I could say wisdom comes with age, but lately I ain't so sure. At the end of the day, I just hope I've made a mistake I never made before. Tell me why I learn and I forget. Yeah, I learn and I forget. Oh, I learn like I'm just getting started. Why do I learn and I forget? Yeah, I learn and I forget. Oh, I learn life ain't for the faint-hearted. Oh, why do I learn and I forget? Yeah, I learn and I forget. Oh, I learn like I'm just getting started. Why, oh, why do I learn and I forget? Oh, I learn and I forget. Yeah, I learn that life ain't for the faint-hearted. Toot 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 toot. I learn and I forget. Do 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 do. Life ain't for the faint-hearted. No. All right. Hello. Happy Saturday night. Thanks for coming. I love visiting, and I love singing songs. So for me, it's already a win. And I just appreciate the warm welcome, and I've told you before, and I'm sure I said that I don't say it everywhere, and I'm sure I also said I don't say it to pander. That's the truth. I actually mean it when I say it's one of my favorite places to come, this building, this place, this town. And it's just always, how many times have I been here? 9 times, and it's just always enjoyable. I mean, really. So thank you. And so I have not been here in the last 12 months, right? I'm 99. I'm sure I haven't. And in the last 12 months, so almost exactly a year ago. By the way, my name is Daniel. For those of you who have no idea, who you're like, this was mystery meat. Thank you especially for your trust of whoever you came with. I guess probably is who you trusted, and I hope you enjoy the evening. And for you, if you've never heard me sing before, every song is new, so that's fun, I guess. Except for Bob Marley and Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which if I had written one note of one of those 2 songs, I'd be wearing much more expensive pants. But anyway, otherwise, some of you have heard me sing over the years, so a lot of the songs you've heard before, but I have several that you probably haven't heard before, because they're on an album that came out now 11 months ago. Actually, almost exactly a year ago, but 11 months something, in October of last year. So it's still new in different places that I go, right? Especially since, and I don't want this to shock you or dissuade you from anything, but the whole culture of buying an album has kind of dissipated a lot. So it's like when I used to, this is just true, when I used to release an album, I would order thousands of them. From the manufacturer, and out they'd go into the mail, and they'd fly off the table, and that's not so much anymore. And I understand, and life changes, and it's imagine you were in the saddle business the day after the Model T comes out. That's kind of how it feels, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm not going to be that guy who complains about a change like I deserve. You know what I mean? Like for it to not change. That's okay. But that is a reality. In other words, when I make an album, it stays new everywhere I go because the album isn't out there in the world in the way that my earlier albums used to be. So the good news is you haven't heard these songs, and I hope you like some of them or all of them. One never knows. So I'm going to do several of them, and I'm going to ask you to cue up a track back there. Let's start. I wasn't planning on starting with this, but I was just doing the doo-doos from I Learn and I Forget. And that made me think of this song. This song's called Middle Ground. Some of you, have you guys ever seen the video I did with Nemo? Some of the songs I've done with Nemo? If you don't know what I'm talking about, Nemo is a good friend and a wonderful guy who, if you looked at him right now, you would think total volunteer idealist hippie who lives at Gandhi's ashram in Ahmedabad, India, and does some of the most beautiful, amazing, and humble volunteer work you've ever seen in your life, saving kids' lives, pulling them out of slums around Ahmedabad. And he's younger than me by a lot, and never mind that he's like 6 inches taller and weighs like 30 pounds less. I'm not bitter. But he's built a couple of schools, literally, as a volunteer, where they teach not only academic subjects, but job skills, personal hygiene, daily acts of kindness, the arts, and it is truly amazing. Talk about saving lives, like you all do here in the winter, I understand, with this amazing shelter program you have. It's really something to be proud of. And what Nemo does is like that. He does it for kids in India, in Ahmedabad. He is Indian American, grew up listening to hip-hop, and became a rapper of such quality that he was signed to Sony Records and was in Asia, kind of a rising star in Southeast Asia, Sony Southeast Asia. When he, like I said, you'd think now he's just like this hippie dude who does this amazing volunteer work, but he also, you wouldn't guess that he has a business degree from Wharton School of Business in Pennsylvania and was a rising executive at American Express until he walked away from it to make music, and then walked away from that to do his volunteer work. The last thing I'll say before you hear him rap, because he's a collaborator of mine, the only thing I'll say is if you hear about somebody doing good things and you hope You wonder, are they as nice as you would think they would be or hope they would be? The answer about Nemo is yes. As good and as nice and as kind in private as you would hope he would be for the work that he does. He's that good a person. So it's really, in the music we've made together, we've made about 7, 8, 9 songs together, and it's some of my proudest achievements as a musician, the songs we've done. It's kind of a modest little song. I was working on it when he came over. His parents live in Southern California. He lives in India. When he comes to Southern California to see his parents, he comes over and we hang out and work on music. And he was over when I was working on this little song that I wrote. I don't know if you remember, maybe you've blocked it out, how unpleasant the last election was. How acrimonious, I don't care what politics you have, how acrimonious and angry and scared it was. So I wrote this song. He heard it, Nemo heard it when he was at the house, and he said, I like that. And I said, well, if you like it, write a rap for it. And he did, and it became this collaboration on the new album. And I'm going to sing several songs from the new album, but I just thought I'd start with this one. Here we go, a song called Middle Ground. Isn't that amazing? Minimalist. Philip Glass was a major influence. That's the one. Crank it way up, though. Now, hang on 1 second. 1 second. What's the noise? Yeah. Is it? Oh yeah, it's not because I promised. Yeah, so you turned this way up. That's going to be a problem. But this did work just before we started the show, so she'll get it going. We believe in you. No pressure. Okay, sorry, that's too much pressure. How about this? Is that better? All right. Well, if you can't right now, then I'll do other things. Is that the case? I know. Yeah, it sounded awesome before, just before the show. When you press stop on that song in the middle of it before, did you turn it off or something by any chance, or hit mute on anything? All right. Okay. Well, let's carry on with a different song from the same album. All right, here we go. So this is I won't talk too much. I already talked about Nemo quite a bit, but this next song, I'll just say, was inspired by a conversation I had with a friend who I've known for a long time, and I thought I knew well. And then she told me we had about an hour uninterrupted, which we hadn't had in a long time, and I found out, I thought she was nice and generous and kind and cool and talented and successful. Then she told me where she came from, and I had never heard. A broken home, an orphan, adopted, abusive, tough story. And I suddenly realized I thought I was sitting in front of an awesome person. In fact, I was sitting in front of like a heroic person, somebody way more impressive than I even thought, and I thought she was impressive. And then I started wondering. I used to work in corporate stuff in cubicles. When I first got out of college, 6 years I spent pretending to be a computer programmer. And I remember the conversations. How's it going? Good. Nice day? Yeah. Everything good up there? Fantastic. How's the family? Good. Great. Good vacation? Wonderful. That's it. That's kind of how deep most of those conversations go. And nobody really wants it to spill or have anybody else spill deep, complex, emotional stories, generally speaking. But I did start thinking after that conversation with my friend, I wonder how many people are far more heroic and persevering and strong and courageous than they let on, than we'd ever know, unless we heard the story. And I'm kind of coming to the conclusion over time now that it's true about approximately everybody. Such that if any one of us in this room were to stand up and share a story of what we were made of, where we came from, and how we arrived to where we're at, how we arrived to where we're at would start looking like a spectacular story of strength and courage and guts and resilience. And so my friend inspired this song. I've never understood how you turned out so good with all that you've had to endure. No one expected you to make the best of you. The deck stacked against you for sure. The more that I learn, the more I admire how you never got burned, being forged in the fire. Yeah, an ordinary mortal would have quit by now. With a life like a field full of mines, you're human, I know, made of muscle and bone, but you must have steel in your spine. You never talk about when you first figured out that you'd have to go it alone. It breaks my heart to picture you, a child hiding out of view, so young to fight on your own. But still here you stand, and still here you are, igniting the world with your luminous heart. Yeah, an ordinary mortal would have quit by now. With a life like a field full of mines, you're human, I know, made of muscle and bone, but you must have steel in your spine, and that would explain how you never admit any pain. So let me just say that child has a lot to be proud of, but no longer needs to keep the world at bay. If you were mortal, you'd have quit by now. You've been counted out so many times. You're human like me. You can bruise, you can bleed, but you must have steel in your spine. Yeah, a mortal would have quit by now, but your light was determined to shine. There's so much more than they see, a superhero to me. You must have steel in your spine. You must have steel in your spine. Oh, oh, oh. I've written a lot of songs, and oh, this needs to come way back down. That's really loud. I'm going to hurt somebody. No, that's true. I could hurt somebody. When I actually sometimes I've been doing a little bit of, I'll call it substitute teaching. Basically, I've been sitting in for a few music teachers in my boys' school district because they've gotten to know me a little bit, and so I went through whatever little paperwork and stuff that I needed to be a substitute teacher, and I really only take the phone calls from the music teachers and sit in, and I completely ignore the curriculum. It's not great. It's not great. I'm not proud of it, but it is like the story of me. I mean, you're just not going to get me to follow. I mean, ask John what it was like. I mean, you know, somebody calls to ask me what song I'm going to sing on Sunday. You know, it's just not. It's not easy for my brain to sort through these things. And they give me the outline, and actually usually it's like this, it's kind of filler stuff related to music, sort of, you know, we're going to watch a little bit of The Sound of Music and then talk about the song, you know, kind of thing. So instead I bring my guitar and I carry on like a 1 hour like little workshop with the third graders, you know, or fourth graders or fifth graders. But every so often this is just made me think of it with the, you know, you can't hurt somebody. Every so often when I really want to get their attention, just if they think that it's just a guy in a room who won't stop talking, I'll do something like, I'll be talking about frequencies and wavelengths and whales and piccolos and, you know, and like the fact that the earth itself is actually ringing. Did you know that? The earth itself is actually ringing like a bell, but it's a very big bell and it's a very low ring. And of course there's no air and space, which leads to a whole conversation about how all sound is a wave in air. So you see how I never get to the curriculum. I just got off my own story, for God's sake. But sometimes I'll say, like, what is it, you know, where do you hear this when I do this? Oh! Right. And they're like, ah! And they all scream, you know. And so, yes, I can hurt you. I can hurt you with my voice. And I talk about how, maybe you knew this, maybe you didn't, but you know, literally, there's no sound in space because there's no air. And just like a rock thrown into water makes waves of water, that's all we're doing. When I hit a guitar string, I am causing the string to vibrate, which causes the air around it to vibrate, like your hand in water would. And those waves travel so fast through the air that approximately instantaneously, they arrive in everybody's eardrums, right? At approximately, like exactly the same time. And then the real magic happens, because your brain, your eardrum, which is in fact sort of a drum in reverse, like a microphone or a speaker, feels the vibration and then interprets, sends a signal to your brain. That's 440 cycles a second. And your brain says, oh, that's an A. How does that happen? No delay. Nothing conscious going on. Spectacular story. Anyway, so I use like sounds like that to demonstrate when I really want to knock them out or get them to stop talking, which is as hard as getting me to stop talking. That is to say, hard. I remember as a kid warming up before gym, I'd touch my toes without breaking a sweat. If I tried it now, there ain't the slightest doubt I'd end up in a hospital bed. The older I get, the less I want to stretch, but the more that I need to try. 'Cause somewhere between what I know and what I believe is a lesson only life can teach. No plan is perfect, no path is straight, so I'm gonna bend or I'm gonna break. Well, it's always kind of cute when some smooth-talking suit is selling peace of mind guaranteed. when just behind the curtain I am fairly certain even well-dressed wizards are as worried as me. Take your doctors and pills, lawyers and their wills, talking heads on TV. If everyone confessed that everyone's a mess, I'm guessing we could all just breathe. 'Cause somewhere between what I sense and what I see is a lesson only life can teach. No plan is perfect, no path is straight, so I'm gonna bend or I'm gonna break. How do I go from pretending to know to admitting I'm flying blind? Well, maybe the cure for the need to be sure is taking one detour at a time. 'Cause somewhere between what I am and what I thought I'd be is a lesson especially for me. No plan is perfect, no path is straight. I'm in the palm of the hand of fate, and sooner or later there's a choice to make. I'm gonna bend or I'm gonna break. I'm gonna bend or I'm gonna break. Yeah, I'm gonna bend or I'm gonna break. I'm gonna bend or I'm gonna break. I gave my little boy, Jude is 11, I gave him a cameo on that song at the end of the recording because I still remember when he was a baby, and I tested him actually, and he can still do it. He can still put his foot in his mouth. And I'm like, and Jude's like, Daddy, you try it. I'm like, not unless we want to go to the hospital. That ain't happening. I had him say something. I said, just say something at the end of that song. And he says, what he says on the record is something like, Daddy, can you even touch your toes? Because I can put my toes in my mouth. And that's how the song ends. All right, so anyway, so the album is called Real, and when I talk about it, I'm not plugging it, I'm just talking about it because it's just the latest sort of collection of songs. Most of the songs were written during the pandemic, which means, yes, there's a couple of cranky ones in there. But this song, but I tried to do, it's my 23rd album, and I've written a lot of songs, and I'm kind of always, like, my wife makes jewelry, and she's the same. So in our house, she's in one end of the house working on silver, and I'm in the other half of the house working on music. But we actually both really consistently aspire to doing something we haven't done before. Even just a little something, even something no one else would notice. Just kind of inching forward. Neither one of us has a degree in what we do. She doesn't have an MFA, I don't have a music degree. So it's been learning on the job slowly for 25, 30 years. So on this album, I tried to do on each song a little something I'd never done before. And on this song, this one I'll do for you now, I actually tried to sing it differently than I've sung anything before on a recording. So you may notice, you may not, but the album is called Real, and it's all about real feelings. That's it. I didn't know that until I looked back and was almost finished with it. Is that every song is really just about being honest about something. This is a song on that theme. So here we go. I can't help but notice you light up the room like a wave on the ocean, reflecting the moon in the sparkling darkness. Feels so familiar and new. Your laugh is a chorus of crystalline air. Everyone in your orbit cannot help but care as they try to engage you and try not to stare, but they do. Still there's a shadow, a question, a doubt, something that I recognize. Surrounded by people who can't really see you, 'cause they'll never see through your smiling disguise. Your smiling disguise. What do they call you, and how do you feel about the people surrounding you? Can you be real? And when you need a shoulder, do you have to pose or pretend? Well, maybe I'm being a little overt. I apologize truly. In my line of work, it's not often I find myself wanting to be someone's friend. Well, you see my shadow and question, no doubt, whether I'm wicked or wise. But I'm not these people who can't really see you. No, I can see right through your smiling disguise. Your smiling disguise. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. So you take off your mask and I'll take off mine. Let's see what we see. Let's see what we find. Lest we forget we have limited time after all. And where there's a shadow, a question, a doubt, maybe together we'll find. All we were needing was one set of eyes who could handle the truth that we normally hide behind a smiling disguise. There's always a shadow, there's always a doubt. Oh, but maybe together we'll figure it out without a smiling, beguiling disguise. Oh, a smiling disguise. La 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 la. What time is it, by the way? I think we'll take a little break in a few minutes. What time is it? I can't see a clock. I know there's one back there. 7:49? Okay, all right. Well, let me do two songs right here that I promised two different people that I would do. Here we go. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. You know it's with me. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, sweetest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning here, and I'm seeing light so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Sing with me, get ready. Get ready, my soul. Diving in. I'm diving into the deepest kind of love. To the deepest kind of love. Sweetest kind of life. To the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something gone that'll never return. I think I finally learned to bring it on. And everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Yeah. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving, I'm through dreaming, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of light. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul. All right, let me do one more song, and then we'll take a little break, 10, 15 minutes. I will be out at my table, and we'll check on sounds. There's a couple songs I for sure want to do for you tonight if I can. And if I can't, I'll do them tomorrow morning. For those of you coming, is everybody here coming tomorrow morning, or you guys go different places, right? I know Joplin's here too, right? So you're probably headed home. And I really appreciate you coming out tonight. I hope you're enjoying the show. But I'll be here at 11 o'clock in the morning to speak and sing some more. And so during this little break, I'll be out at that table, and if you walk by that table and are wondering why it looked like a little craft fair, that's because my family is a little crafty family. So I have been doing woodworking. I've been doing woodworking so much, this is not a joke, is that Jude has actually asked me if I'm going to stop making music because I've been spending so many hours in the wood shop. It's very, very enjoyable and time-consuming. And I use these exotic woods that are so very, very beautiful. And it's just very happy making for me. So I've been putting some of my woodworking on the table. That's the point of that. So I have these boxes that I've been making. I make different objects, but lately I've been making these boxes, and that's why there's some woodworking on the table for sale. And then my wife's jewelry, and I've said it before. I don't know if I've ever said it here, but I really mean it when I say that I'm like more proud of my wife's jewelry than I am of my own stuff on the table. She's and it's really true. She is a self-taught silversmith. And some of you may relate, like when I sing the song "Steel in Your Spine." When I didn't tell you, but when I first sang that song, I sang it on one of my Facebook shows, which I'm still doing live, by the way, every Monday night. So if you ever want to join me on Monday night, here it's at 8 o'clock, Daniel Nahmod, USA. This Monday I won't be live because I'll be at Unity Village, but like 50 weeks a year I'm live on Monday nights. And I've done, I don't know, probably 500 or 600 shows on Facebook since the pandemic started. And if you had asked me a week before the pandemic started whether I had any idea how to go live on Facebook or whether I gave a damn about it and whether I ever intended to, the answer was no, no, and no. And if you come up and say, I would love to watch your shows, but I'm not on Facebook, the first thing out of my mouth will be very, very good choice. But I am alive on Facebook, and I do owe Facebook some gratitude because they made it possible for me to continue to do the thing that I most want to do. This is not to sound noble, it's just true. The thing that I most want to do and am capable of doing for someone who is scared, lonely, sad, uneasy. It's like, it's the thing I can do is to sing them a song. And has there ever been a larger population of scared, uneasy people in the world? I don't know if there ever has been. Maybe September 11th, in my lifetime, maybe September 11th was on that level. So Facebook made it possible for me to turn on my computer, go live, and sing Empty Hands or sing a water song or One Power or whatever it is. And it really turned out to be a shockingly powerful experience and continues to be. There's a little community that's formed. People are talking to each other online while I'm singing. They're not even paying attention to me singing. And that is perfectly fine by me. It's been way more special, like I said, than I ever expected, even though I absolutely believe. I saw Terminator as a kid, and I absolutely believe that we're watching a race between, I'd say probably mostly Facebook, Google, and TikTok at this point, to be the harbinger for the end of the world. One of them is going to be. So I don't love Facebook for almost anything, but it really has, like I said, I have to have some gratitude for what they made possible. Anyway, so my wife, what I was saying about my wife is she's a child. Oh, I know what I was saying. I was saying about Steel in Your Spine. When I first sang that song, 3 of my closest friends heard it on Facebook and texted me and asked whether I'd written it about them. And 2 things. One, I said, yes, of course, to all of them, because I'm not an idiot. And 2, and the second thing I thought is, wow, okay, that was really the start of the thought. Like I said before, that I thought, first it was this one friend telling me the story, and then if I sang that song and 3 people who I know well but didn't really know they would relate to that, that they kept a lot hidden and felt broken and had come through something to arrive at who they were, I thought, I wonder how universal that feeling is, and I wonder how universal that reality is. So when I sing that song in front of anybody, I'm aware that I'm just sure that somebody in this room related, because the truth is, if you and I, like I said, if we were to tell a true story, any one of us could reduce the rest of this room into tears. We have very, very poor luck in that we are all raised by humans. It really sucks, because most of what we're built of is behind the scenes. It's unconscious, it's forgotten, it's childhood, it's things that are modeled for us that we don't even know we're learning, and could never even attribute what we'd learned. I sometimes joke that grown-ups are just kids with bigger skin. That really we're all just imitating adults when we become adults. We're just being the way we figure adults are supposed to be. We dress that way, we work that way, we relate that way. You want to find out what you were made of, date somebody. And all of a sudden, you date somebody and you find out how your parents, if you were with them when they were together, let's say, if you can find out how their relationship went as soon as you date somebody, because you were watching them. And all of a sudden, something triggers you and you're like, wow, where the hell did that feeling come from? Or why did I react that way? Or how did that, how did I attract somebody like that? And then you're like, oh, it's my father, damn it, And it's all unconscious, and we cannot blame ourselves for it. We just can't. We can't, and I'm not forgiving or excusing abusive behavior. I'm just saying, the day-to-day stuff is complicated. We are messy. We are just messy. And then, of course, we do our best to raise our kids and break whatever cycles we're aware of that are negative or hurtful. But we've got our own that we're passing on without even knowing it. I mean, I have never, not one day with Jude that I haven't failed in my mind. Not once. I've had moments where I thought, gold star for daddy. But not a single day goes by where I'm proud of every reaction I've had. And most of those reactions, I couldn't even tell you why I had them. Why did I say no to a second bowl of cereal? Something silly. Why didn't I go out and play with him when he asked? I had to do what? Answer emails? That's not as important. You know what I mean? In my mind. And I just replay these things all the time. So steel in your spine is like that. But my wife is a poster child for somebody who has been through that, who's been through things that are built into her, which is why I'm so proud. Particularly, she's such a talented artist anyway, but she was one of 5 kids with a single dad. And I'm saying this stuff because I'm not streaming or recording, but because she would kill me. But she's 2,000 miles away, and there's nothing she can do to stop me. But she was raised, their mom, the 5 kids, their mom left when Melina was 3. And it shows up. She is as devoted a mom as anything I've ever seen. But it shows up that her mom abandoned her and all 5 of those kids. It shows up. You know what I mean? No one ever noticed that she was an artist because her dad was on permanent disability with all those 5 kids. And so they scraped by. He used to buy 8 chicken and a pound of beans and make food for the family for days for the 5 kids and him. And, she laughs at how soft and flimsy Jude is when it comes to doing anything around the house. Because she said, I was cleaning toilets when I was 7 because every one of the 5 of us had a job to do. And our dad couldn't do them. And no one asked if she was an artist, and there was no chance of her becoming an artist. She had to go basically to trade school. She became a court reporter and was a brilliant court reporter when I met her, one of the best in the business. She wrote 250 words a minute, documenting 10 different people talking, identifying who's talking at 99% accuracy on a steno machine, right? I mean, she's good at it. But inside, she was an artist that was never allowed to be. And when she met this short, hairy Jewish guy who sings songs for a living, I like to think that I at least modeled, if not overtly gave permission to her to just start being an artist that she's always been. And so when you look at that silver, and this isn't to sell it, you can just look at it. When you look at it, it's hard-won talent and skill. Nobody handed it to her. No art school. No teachers. She just is devoted to it. She loves it as much as I love the music. And then last thing I'll say on the table is the music itself. There are CDs, which I still love, but if you don't have a CD player, I have individual little cards. You can download an album onto your phone or your computer in a couple of seconds. And I also have, the last thing I'll say is a flash drive, a USB drive. If you don't know what a USB flash drive is, you don't want it. Don't ask. Unless you have a grandkid who's going to teach you how to use it, you don't need it. You don't want it. But if you want a lot of music, if you know what it is and how, it's very simple. I'm kidding. It goes into a USB slot. It's very simple on a computer or your car even. And if you want a lot of music, it's 14 albums on there now. 14 inspirational records, including lyrics, and like 20 or 25 extra songs that I tossed on there for fun that have never been released anywhere else. And it's a thing the size of a credit card. And I try not to think about how depressing it is that my entire life's work fits on an object the size of a credit card. But these are the digital times we live in. Anyway, so that's what's on the table, the USB thing, the albums, the jewelry, and the woodworking. I'll be out there for a few minutes, and then come in, and please come back. There are a few songs I haven't sung yet that you're going to enjoy, okay? If you have to go, I understand, and thank you for coming. But I hope you'll stick around and hear some more songs, because I've got some humdingers coming up. And here is a song that somebody else requested from tonight, which I've always considered disturbingly autobiographical. There's the kind of life when every choice you make's the safe one, predictable, when every moment's like the last one, everything even slightly barely scary is locked away. It's the kind of life where your engine's never gunning, sitting tight, I know your heart is hardly running, nobody better be messing with the schedule for your usual day. Then there's the kind of life where your pot of gold may never come, where your dream's so big it's never done, where your work feels less like work than fun. Tell you what I want, that one, I want that one, yeah. Give me the kind of life where wrong is sometimes right and black is sometimes white as well. at me, going a million different directions. Messy me, I call it perfect imperfection. Don't bother asking me where I'm headed, cause I really don't know. No, crazy me. Today I may become a rock star. Then again, it would be so cool to drive a NASCAR. Tomorrow I might decide to wrestle crocodiles for Nat Geo. You don't need to say that my pot of gold may never come. I know, blah, blah, blah. My work is never done. But if a life can be never-ending fun, tell you what I want. That one. I want that one. Yeah, give me the kind of life where I'm kind of flying blind and black is sometimes white as well. I want that one, not some boring, ordinary, flat one. I will fail and I'll succeed. I'll laugh and I will bleed. Every day's a mystery. Yeah, that's the life for me. Oh, that's the life for me. That one. All right. Thank you very much. See you in a few minutes. Thank you so much. Nope, it just went out. So that means it's a wire disconnecting. What? All right. What do we think? Oh, that was an inauspicious beginning. Yeah. It's from my new album called 7 Seconds. Every song, 7 seconds. You know what? No joke. You can make an argument that, at least in the music industry itself, there isn't really a need for 3 minutes anymore. You know, in the sort of twisted world of, you know, Spotify and whatever else, all these listening platforms, in the music business I'm talking about, you know, you just look for numbers, and a shorter song is just more easily digestible. Like if you cut out the beginning, cut out the end, cut out the repetition, cut out the bridge of the song, and just kind of get to the point and move on, I bet you I can make $1 million doing it if I had absolutely no artistic integrity whatsoever. And some days I wish I had no artistic integrity whatsoever. And you know when I'm really going to wish it is when Jude graduates high school. I'm going to wish I had sold out years ago. So what do you think? No tracks? It's very disappointing. You want to try it again? Am I the only one who's nervous that this isn't going to work? Here we go. We'll try it. There's a left and a right. Nobody ever seems to unmake up their mind and find the in-between. No, why is that happening? Why is that happening? It's driving me nuts. How about we do it from my laptop or something? Do we have, you know what, do you have an adapter for a headphone jack up here? Or because I'll unplug my guitar and plug it into my laptop if I have an adapter from 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch, so I can plug it into the little headphone jack. You know what I mean? Because it's, you got one? All right. Is that a yes? Okay. Then please hold for 30 seconds. All right, let's try one more time. If it wasn't meant to be, I'll do tracks tomorrow morning. We'll sort it out. Go ahead. Here we go. Much louder than that. Thank you. Awesome. There's a left and a right. Nobody ever seems to unmake up their mind and find the in-between. It's an endless fight. Nobody can agree. This mic is way too hot. Well, maybe it's time that you and I should meet in the middle ground. Gonna find it. Yeah, in the middle ground. Gonna find it. But nobody sees what I want to see, so I gotta leave. 'Cause everybody says Nemo got no practicality. Ooh, 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 ooh. Is what I really mean. That I believe we'll meet in the middle ground. Gonna find it. Yeah, in the middle ground. I've been thinking of a simple place that we can meet, a place that we can be, a place that we can dream. And I know you've been thinking of the same place just like me. So why don't we just stop for a beat in the middle ground? Does anyone know how to get there? Or have I lost my mind? Should I just let go and not care? Or do I dare to find the middle ground? Oh, yeah. If you can bring up the track here a lot. There it is. Thank you. And mic down still. Way down, actually. There's a left and a right. Everyone's tempted to say the world is black and white when it's a million shades of gray. We are brothers and sisters no matter what your position is. We will make a difference. So what if a compromise is the answer that we seek? It's the middle ground. United we stand, divided we fall now. Together we can make a difference in the middle ground. United we stand, divided we fall now. Together we can make a difference in the middle ground. I've been thinking of a simple place that we can meet, a place that we can be, a place that we can dream in. I know you've been thinking of the same place just like me. So why don't we just stop for a beat in the middle ground, middle ground, middle ground, yeah. A place that we can dream in. I know you've been thinking of the same place just like me. So why don't we just stop for a beat in the middle ground? There you go. Thanks. All right, so do we charge forward with more tracks, or does it sound weird? Can you hear the track in the room? Oh, it sounded clear in the room, because I can't hear it at all up here. So, less voice, more track for sure, because I want to do more. I want to do one or two more from there, but only if it sounded okay to you guys. Okay, all right, good. Okay, that's great. So let's do. All right, let's do another one. Okay, let's try this one. This is a song. I've told you about my boy a little bit, and Jude was sick of the new album before it came out, and it's not his fault. The truth is that I wrote these songs. I didn't even know I was writing an album when I was writing them, because the songs kind of came sporadically over these 3 years, since March 2020, or 2 years, let's say. But I write and rewrite and record and re-record, and he is stuck in the car with me a lot, like especially when I drive him to school. He has to listen to whatever song I'm working on in whatever version and condition it's in. So like literally an exact quote from Jude was, "Daddy, did you add piano to that song?" You know, I'm like, "Yeah." "Daddy, you started writing that song when I was in first grade, Daddy. The song is done, Daddy. Stop adding instruments." And he's just, he knew all the words by heart, and he noticed every change I made to every single one of them. And actually, most of the time, that little shit was right about my production choices. I should have stopped a long time before I did. But the problem is that it's just so addictively entertaining and fun. And I really am a perfectionist about it. And I never even approach perfection. But I keep trying. And it is an endless pursuit. If you're not familiar, it's too long a story to describe like why you can go on forever doing it. But just like suffice it to say, the Beatles spent months doing Abbey Road, and Sgt. Pepper's, and they had only a small fraction of the musical power and flexibility that any schmo with an iPad has now. So it is endless. You never have to commit. I could play a guitar part and change the key later. I can change it from minor chords to major chords. I can make my voice from man to woman. I can be not a handful of different drummers. I can be every drummer who's ever lived in every ethnic style, every brand of guitar. I can change my guitar into. It's relentless. I can be any major symphony orchestra in the world with the press of a button, and anytime I regret a note, I can work on it for days if I want, a single note or a single violin part. It never ends. And it's all so fun and deeply unpaid, which is the part that drives Jude crazy is listening over and over. The part that drives Melina crazy is that I come up out of the studio 6 months later and I haven't added any value to the album. I've just been having fun, So here is a song. I do want this to be a loud track, okay? And up front too. This is a song called "Healing Day" that I worked on it. And I had a few very talented friends of mine sing backup on it to become a choir, basically. I don't know if you know Faith Rivera. Do you know Faith Rivera? And do you know Harold Payne? They've been around here. They're both singing on here, and my friend Gerald White, who's one of the finest recording session singers in Los Angeles, which is saying a lot. So they sang backup, and this is a song that maybe somebody in this room is going to relate to the sentiment. It's called "Healing Day." Yeah, much more in this. I still don't hear any in the monitor. I'm not sick, but I sure am sick of it. The fear and the fighting, dividing and hiding, oh, just all of it. I can't sleep, so I dream to make up for it. After all, it's the kind of tired no amount of sleep can fix. How long can I wait? How long can I hope? The dam's gotta break. The flood's gotta flow. I'm ready for a healing day. I can feel it coming from a mile away. No more waiting for the clouds to break. Yeah, it's time for a healing day. Could be worse. That's a pretty low bar. That's a subtle curse. It's the end of the open heart. 'Cause if we keep our distance, if we build our walls, if we're wearing masks, do we see each other at all? The nightly news is nightly abuse, making sure we forget that we get to choose. I'm ready For a healing day, I can feel it coming from a mile away. No more waiting for the clouds to break. Yeah, it's time for a healing day. Yes, it is. Yeah. We can do better than this artificial distance, yeah. All the small-scale loneliness. So much singing without a sound, yeah. Better than this. We're all drowning in lockdown. It knocked me down. I'm ready for a healing day. I can feel it coming. Oh, from a mile away. No more waiting for the clouds to break. Yeah, it's time for a healing day. Let my mind be easy. Let my soul be light. Let my woes and worries run right out of sight. Let me let go of anger. Let me laugh out loud. Let me fear no stranger. Let me be homeward bound. And can we just surrender? And can we breathe again? And can we try to remember we are brothers and sisters and friends? And can we lift each other through this howling storm? And can we rediscover we can live in a world reborn? Get ready. Get ready. Oh, we're ready for a healing day. Yeah. Get ready. Get ready. Oh, it's time for a healing day. Yes, it is. Oh, it's long past time for a healing day. Thanks. All right. So many versions of that song. So many changes. If you do hear it, like on the recording, crank it up. It's fun. There's a lot going on there. I guess you heard it just now pretty clearly, but yeah. And I was actually nervous to start a song with "I'm not sick, but I sure am sick of it," because I don't really do crank. I had therapy before I moved to L.A. You know, I moved from Chicago. I was doing that computer programming thing, and kind of realized I want to make music. So I moved to L.A., slept on my brother's couch for 6-7 weeks. He'd probably say 3 months, and he'd probably be right. And rented an apartment in West Hollywood and started making music for a living. But I mean, I joke about it, but it's true. I mean, I already had been through therapy. I kind of had a midlife crisis at 27. You know, I was engaged to be married, and I had this corporate kind of. I could have climbed if I wasn't so lazy and distracted. I could have climbed the ladder, you know. And then I sort of had this. It really was like a midlife crisis. Hopefully not well, I'm 53 now, so if it's my midlife, I'm almost done. 27. So I was 27, and I just suddenly realized, and I can't even take credit for the realization. Like couldn't take credit for my musical ear. I can't take credit for the moment of clarity I had. I know that I was begging for it to figure out what was wrong, because the life looked good. Do you know what I mean? The job looked good. The fiancé is a lovely person. Everything looked good. and I was miserable. And what I sort of realized in a flash was that I had been lying for a living, lying to everybody, including myself, and then I had told the lie convincingly enough that I'd forgotten I was lying. And I was just in the wrong place, doing the wrong thing. And I didn't unlove my fiancée, but I told her the truth. I need to be alone. I need to see where I'm going, and I will not be able to know if I am taking care of you. And she was strong-willed and smart and knew what life she wanted. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it with you. I have to be on my own to find out where this heads. I don't know where it goes. And most painful thing ever. When people sometimes talk to me about how they have a secret story they want to tell, or the way I sometimes think of it is that one sentence that if you said it out loud, it would blow up your entire life. And many people hold on to that sentence their entire lives for good reason. I'm gay, I'm straight, I'm in love with you, I'm not in love with you, I want to be an accountant, I never wanted to be an accountant, you know what I mean? There's one sentence sometimes is, I want to be a parent, I don't want to be a parent. I mean, sometimes we hold on to those secrets for a lifetime. Well, for me, I just said it out loud. I don't want to be in the computer field, I want to make music. And I need to be single to do it. I need to be on my own, not single, but on my own to do it. And when people talk to me about that one sentence that they don't dare say, or that they're I'm scared to say it, I always say, yeah, you should be scared, because it's brutal. Like, there's a good reason why people don't say that one sentence out loud. I mean, if you think about, it's the farthest thing from a trivial example. Throughout history, to this day, someone's life is on the line if they come out and say, I do not feel like a man inside. I feel like a woman. Or, I am not attracted to women. I am attracted to men. Or, I am in love. You know what I mean? That is legitimately, actually dangerous to say. And then dial it all the way back. 10% of that level, 5%, 2% of that level of anxiety is, I don't want to be married anymore. Or I don't want to do this job anymore. It's scary stuff. It's for real. The only thing I can vouch for is that after I said those two sentences about the work and about the partner, it absolutely, I died. I died. That song, Everything New, Everything Different, I'm through grieving, that's real. I didn't write it then, but I could have. And but everything good that has come after that, this is the only part I can say for sure. Everything good that has come after that was born in that explosion. So every song I've written in my entire life, I wouldn't have written. Jude wouldn't exist, wouldn't have met my wife. We wouldn't have our third lovely, wonderful dog in our lives. All the details, life would have been different, got it. But the one I have is the one I want, and none of it would have existed. All the people I've met, let's just say, hypothetically, I've done some good in my life. I wouldn't have. I would have been somewhere else, and what felt to me like a much smaller life. You know what I mean? That was a choice. That was okay. But blowing it up was the most painful thing and the most creative thing I ever did. So that's the only thing I can tell somebody. If somebody's sitting in this room thinking, oh, Jesus, I can't say it. Don't make me say it. I'm not making you. Nobody's going to make you say it. Don't say it if you don't want to say it, the one sentence. But if you do say it, just prepare for a combination of the most painful experience you've ever had, coupled with a release of the most energy, of more energy than you even thought you had, more creativity, more happiness, better everything on the inside from being true instead of pretending. That's the thing, being true instead of pretending. And I'm not saying I never pretend. I'm just talking about those specific examples. I'm a hypocrite and a half about everything. But to be true is scary. But good things come of it. I wasn't planning on singing this, but now I have to sing this one. Am I nervous? Of course I am. You don't even have to ask. Chasing a mystery, anyone would be. One more step and it's out of my hands. There can be no turning back. Can't say what's in front of me, but you know I can't wait to see. This is something I owe to myself. This is something I've just gotta do. I don't know what I'll find, but there's one thing I know about my life. It's gotta be, it's just gotta be true. I remember, of course I do, how I used to hear my heart, what I most want to be, what I most long to see, but that voice has faded so far away. I hardly recognize myself. What happened to me? No wonder I couldn't breathe. This is something I owe to myself. This is something I've just gotta do. I don't know what I'll find, but there's one thing I know about my life. It's gotta be, it's just gotta be true. It's been a lifelong habit, gave away my power, playing follow the leader again and again. But my soul won't have it, I won't hide or cower. I'm ready to dive back in. This is something I owe to myself. This is something I've just gotta do. I don't care what I find. Yeah, there's one thing I know about my life. It's gotta be, it's just gotta be true. It's gotta be true. It's gotta be true. Another song I didn't plan on singing came to mind. I did this little thing online this afternoon, favor for a friend. Like, he's teaching class, so I dropped in on the class. And while I was playing a song, a guitar string broke, which is a little awkward when it happens, whatever. But so I replaced a couple of strings, and new strings don't stay in tune. Sorry, that's what's happening. The other thing that's happening is I'm not really good at tuning it. All right, close enough for jazz. We used to say that to piss off our jazz band director in high school. Whenever we want to really make him mad, we'd say, come on, it's close enough for jazz. And he'd be like, you know. I don't recommend you try that, close enough for jazz. Man, it hurts sometimes when I... Wait. Man, it hurts sometimes to live this life. Some days I'd rather run and hide. Maybe then the pain would hide as well. Maybe then I could protect myself. But who's gonna win? Is that really living? Oh, I wish I didn't know that the answer is no. Nobody would win. 'Cause I could close my eyes and pretend I don't see. I could close my mind and pretend that I'm free. But my soul knows the truth. Life means stepping back in. I'm gonna open my heart again. Man, it hurts sometimes when I've done wrong. Some days I'd rather just move on. Maybe then I wouldn't have to cry. Maybe then I could protect my pride. But who's gonna win? Is that really loving? Oh, I wish I didn't know that the answer is no. Nobody would win. 'Cause I could close my eyes and pretend I don't see. I could close my mind and pretend that I'm free. But my soul knows the truth. Life means stepping back in. I'm gonna open my heart. I could close my eyes and pretend I don't see. I could close my mind and pretend that I'm free. But my soul knows the truth, that life means stepping back in. I'm gonna open my heart again. Open my heart again. No, 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 no. Thanks. Now I start getting in danger of going way too long. Is it 9 o'clock? Oh, boy. All right, so yeah, I have several other songs that are coming to mind now, and I can't keep you here all night. No, I can't. No, I can't. Don't even encourage me. Don't encourage me. When I substitute teach, I'm not being sarcastic. When I substitute teach or work with kids, boundaries, I am extremely scrupulous about them. On stage, not so much. Just going to tune real quick. If it will tune. There you go. Oh. Okay. All right. I had a couple of requests for a couple more songs that I'll do here before we go. And I do feel bad. I feel bad because I think a couple of my best songs and most fun songs, I think they're going to suit better tomorrow morning, and some of you won't be there. So just know that I'm sorry about that. That I actually, but I try not to. I'm actually going to Unity Village. I'm going to be at Unity Village this week. By the way, if you know anybody who's up north in Unity Village area, Monday night, Nemo is here from India. And Monday night, Nemo and I are doing a concert together. And, I mean, the last time we performed together, we performed at the Parliament of World Religions in front of like 10,000 people with giant screens and everything. It was super cool. And we're doing a show together on Monday night. So if you know anybody who's up there, they can come in. It's a conference for a week, but they can get a ticket. Whoever, if you send somebody, it'll be it's just an hour-and-a-half show. But we've got songs planned, videos planned. We've got some cool things going, and a couple songs we've never performed together, which is always nerve-wracking. All right. Anyway, so how to close this show? This is tricky. How to close this show without? I could just do a couple of these songs. How many of you are not going to be here tomorrow morning? I don't mean to harp on it. I actually really just do care that yeah, you know what? All right. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a couple of these songs to close. And just know that for those of you who come tomorrow morning, you know why I'm doing it twice. Sincerely, I'm doing it twice because of all the songs I've written, and there are like a couple thousand, and most of them are awful. Don't get me wrong. But 23 albums full of songs. I take the job of songwriting very seriously, and I take the job of the songs are written. Almost all my songs are written. They come from a phrase or a thought. Somebody says something, or I read something, and a thought occurs, and the thought lays out an entire song. I sit down and work on it. So sometimes a song is born from a relationship or from a specific feeling, or that Steel in Your Spine song came from a specific conversation. But there are a handful of songs of mine that for me in my life transcend like a specific moment. They're not about a relationship or a specific thought. They're like things that are so fundamental to me that there are like a handful of these songs that stand above, not quality-wise necessarily, maybe quality-wise too, I don't know. That's not for me to say. But stand above, like in a little cloud, above all the other songs. And you know what I mean? Is this making any sense? So there's like the fundamentals, like in Jerry Maguire, he says, the ABCs of me, you know? And so that's what I'm debating about closing with a couple of these songs, because I want you to hear them, those of you who won't be here tomorrow morning, because I think they're kind of special. But I also apologize in advance for those of you coming tomorrow morning. I promise I'll do some songs that you haven't heard tonight tomorrow morning, but I may do one or two of these as well. Okay? All right. I really care about that. I want it to be worth your while and for you to feel like new things are happening, and but that's the reason I'm doing it. Okay, so then I have 3 songs to close. Okay, so does that sound okay? We got 3 songs to go. All right. And well, let's just jump in on this first one. There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord. Call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angel's wings, or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. And we'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, or Jesus or Lord. Call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem, or Heaven's Door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, yeah. One power is what we are. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love that's most deep. It's one power. Oh, what we are is one. It's the power of the love that lives forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me. Thanks. All right. This next song was inspired by a phone call my wife and I received from our boy's teacher. And yeah, if you say "uh-oh," yeah, that's probably what we thought for the first 2 seconds. But there was a boy. A boy in Jude's class that was out of his element and getting in trouble all the time. And Jude and the teacher called to say, "I just want you to know, your boy raised his hand today and said, I think Evan did such a good job listening that he should get an extra point." And I may talk about it tomorrow morning. I'm not sure where the talk will go. But it was, I was so... I told Jude when he came home that of all the things that people could say about you, and people will say things about you, they'll have opinions, they'll have judgments. But if people think of you as kind, that's the best thing there is. Number one, greatest way that people would think of you. And it ran even much deeper than that for me. I am born in America. My dad is, my mom is not, my grandparents all immigrants. And my dad's mom was the youngest of 13, all of whom emigrated to the United States from Poland with their parents. At the turn of the 20th century, she died at 98. And I visited her on her deathbed, actually, with his guitar, sang her a couple songs. And we talked about some of my favorite stories that she'd ever told me. And she was a very funny, very tough, tiny little woman, as wide as she was tall, about 4 feet in both directions. And I'm not really exaggerating, not much, I'm not exaggerating much. But she was a very tiny little woman who had never even finished 8th grade, because back then, you didn't have to legally, and she had to go to work to support her parents who were approaching elderly at that point when she was still in grade school. And she was tough and smart and always up for a chuckle, even on her deathbed. And we talked about what for her was one of the, honest to God, one of the greatest achievements of her life. Was that in kindergarten she started school in America, not speaking a word of English. And this boy, Evan, was brand new in America from Vietnam, didn't speak a word of English. In kindergarten, my bubby started in school, and in second grade, she won the spelling bee. And 90 years later, she was still proud that she had done that. And I told Jude, your bubby did not learn English. Your great-grandmother, my bubby, did not learn English from any of her siblings, who didn't speak English either, from her parents, maybe not even from a teacher. How could she in a class of 20, 30 kids? Somebody went out of their way. Somebody saw that Betty, this tiny little woman, tiny little girl at the time, who didn't get much taller, had a spark in her eye and had something. Somebody went out of their way to help this little girl learn English. Somebody was a little extra kind, and they changed her entire life as a result. In fact, I never really drew the connection directly, but I mean, my dad, her oldest of two sons, my dad was, the only thing he had was academics, was his mind. They didn't have a pot to pee in, not a single extra dollar. They had a cockroach-infested apartment. My grandfather was not a good man, not a good husband, not a provider. So it was really all on this little woman, Betty. And her son, Sheldon, was so bright and so hardworking that he earned himself a scholarship to the University of Chicago, then a scholarship to Harvard Law School, and became a law professor in constitutional law for the next 45 years. Just retired last year, my dad did. And that, there's no question, his academic focus, no question, was influenced by the fact that my bubby had that academic success, even as a little girl, and even when she didn't even get to high school, much less finish. And I told Jude, you spoke up for that boy today, and it made a difference. You may never know what difference it made, but it made a difference. And it, you know, you and I, we're playing in the same field. You know, any given day, we have the opportunity. Lord knows we have the opportunity to say something nasty or cranky. And we also have the opportunity to say a sentence that costs us nothing, that does something special for somebody. And if I were to ask everyone in this room, can you think of a sentence somebody once said to you that you can still hear them saying it, that flipped on a switch, flipped on a light, made you feel loved, made you feel seen or heard, made you feel cared about? Remember, Mr. Rogers did it every show for millions of kids, some of whom you and I know, maybe someone in this room too. You and I know some of those kids didn't hear it from anybody else. And he looked in a camera and took the time to say it. I care about you. And Jude did that for that little boy. And you and I have that opportunity every single day. Whether we take it or not is our business. And most of the time, 99.9% of the time, we don't find out what good it does. Just like if I asked you who said that sentence, imagine they would never even believe that you still remember what they said to you. The teacher, the parent, the uncle, you know what I mean? The friend who said one thing nice. I still remember these miscellaneous. I remember a friend of mine listening to one of my earliest songs, and when I finished, she said, well, you've got to be proud of that one, right? It made me feel good. He wouldn't remember saying it. I remember. And we're holding that much power. Power for good. So this is a song that was inspired by the phone call from Jude's teacher telling us about that sentence. Lately I've been thinking about what motivates me to give a couple dollars to a stranger on the street, to hold the door, carry groceries, help a neighbor in need. When history repeats itself in headlines every day, solutions never big enough for problems that we face, as a man, as a dad, What difference can I make? 'Cause I know better than to think I'll be remembered for a favor or a quarter or a smile. Oh, but maybe before I return to sender, I can do one thing worthwhile. So I'm gonna try to raise a kind child. Sure would help if our boy went and got an MBA and took care of his artist mom and dad in their old age. But let's face it, Wall Street probably isn't in his DNA. But when his first grade teacher said she wanted us to know, it's Jude who always comforts any kid who sits alone, there's just so much pride my heart can take. My retirement can wait. 'Cause I know better than to think I'll be remembered for a fortune or a pension or a prize. Oh, but maybe before I return to sender, I'll have done one thing worthwhile. Yeah, I'm gonna try to raise a kind child. I don't want him to think the world is his to save. It's too much pressure anyway, it can't be done. I don't want him to think he has to be a saint, 'cause the truth is, saints don't have any fun. Mostly I just hope, my boy, you'll come to understand. No 401k or GPA can make a happy man. It's having roots, doing good, helping out where you can. So put down roots, do some good, take somebody's hand. And you'll know better than most what really matters, what makes living this life worthwhile. And there may come a day your own kids will remember how their granddad used to say with a smile that he raised. We raised a kind child. One more song, sort of ending very quietly. I hope that's okay. It's just a reflection of my extreme show business prowess, that I know exactly how to end with a bang, or a whimper, or whatever the opposite would be. However, tomorrow morning is going to be fun, and there are a couple songs I've got in mind that you're really going to get a kick out of, so I'm looking forward to sharing those. But this one is another one of those songs. Like Kind Child became very quickly obvious to me that it's like a central value, you know what I mean? And One Power, I grew up in a traditional Jewish home, kosher home. My older brother's a rabbi. I was really not meant to sing songs. I was meant to be a lawyer. And in fact, I try not to think about it because I now fully understand how valuable the offer was that my entire life, my dad said, you can have a free law degree. You can go to my law school for free. And now I'm thinking, Jesus, why didn't we do that? That would have been a really smart idea. Instead, my younger brother writes screenplays, and I write songs. And David, my younger brother, once called me and said, Dan, I just realized something. Mom and Dad offered us the keys to the kingdom, and we threw them away. That's what he said. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. He's like, we could have been in finance. We could have owned businesses. And instead, you write songs and I write scripts. And I'm like, yeah, that was pretty stupid, wasn't it? Actually, I try not to think about the fact that I was a computer programmer at the dawn of the computer programming takeover of humanity. And I quit that business to be in the music business. Yeah. We're glad. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad too, but savvy it was not, you know. Anyway, it was profit maximizing, no. But that actually leads me straight to this final piece of music. I wrote this song. I talked about the one sentence that Jude said, or the one intervention somebody did something for Betty, right around 1910. I was in the midst of doing something nice for planet Earth. I wrote the water songs. You heard Planting Seeds. Is that the only? Oh, and Everything New, Bring It On, Everything New. Those two songs are from an album called Water, which I know I saw mouths moving, so some of you know the album. And the songs were written on a sabbatical I took in Utah, which was now 17 years ago, 2006, in the winter of 2006. I wrote these songs in the middle of Red Rock country of Arches and Canyonlands National Parks. Very, very, very beautiful, quiet, a magnificent place. And I was driving along the river road. There's a river road that goes outside of Moab, a small town there, right outside Arches National Park. The river road, the Colorado River runs outside town. And I stopped just to look at the river going by, and I spotted like a can or something on the ground that somebody had tossed out of their car. And I thought, what kind of jerk drives by this place, gets out of their car, looks up at these cliffs, 1,000-foot-high red rock cliffs above them and the Colorado River below them, and tosses a can onto the ground. What kind of person does this? And I picked up the can. And as I was picking it up, I spotted more trash because the river was an embankment, and I looked down the embankment, and it was completely littered with junk. And I have a Subaru, a little Forester, a station wagon type thing. And I just decided, because I was there on a sabbatical, nobody really knew I was there. I was there for 3 months, cleared my schedule, rented a house over the phone. I can't explain it, except that it was one of the best things I ever did. I hadn't met my wife. I hadn't had a son. I didn't have a mortgage. So there was a certain moment in my life that I was able to do it. And I did it. 3 months, 86 days, 87 days. I ended up writing 125 songs during those 86 days, most of which are terrible that I won't even play for my wife. Well, that's actually not fair because she hates the terrible songs. So, I know not to play them for her, but, no one's ever heard them, probably 100 of them. But 20 or 25 of them are some of the best songs I've still to this day ever written. And 11 of them became the Water album. So I'm there in this incredible flow of music and nature and silence, and I spot this trash and I start chucking it into the back of my Forester. First, I'm pissed off at everybody who would ever do such a thing to this place. But after a few minutes, it kind of got fun. It became a project. So for the next 3 or 4 hours, I went up and down that embankment, filthy, disgusting, half-drunk bottles of beer and unopened gallons of milk, which I'll never understand, and styrofoam coolers and ketchup packets and McDonald's bags, and just went on and on. It was everything you ever thought would be in a dumpster somebody had left in this sacred place. And I spent hours doing it, and then a creeping feeling came in. I've cleaned maybe 100 yards of this stretch of the scenic byway. The scenic byway there is 35 miles. And I've spent an entire day, and all I could manage to do was a little tiny. I thought, this was so useless. People are going to drive by and toss trash again. What a tiny, inadequate contribution to this place. And then the thought occurred to me. Well, Danny, what if you knew it was all you could do? What if you had maxed out your contribution? What if 100 yards was the entire sphere which you were empowered to clean, to impact, could you then feel like it was enough? And the first few lines of this song came to mind right there and then. And I went back to the house I had rented and finished writing it. And the notion of being enough, man, that's elusive. You are in an extremely small minority if you feel like you have earned enough, have a good enough car, big enough house, saved enough money, told the people you love that you love them enough, proven yourself enough, achieved enough, built a big enough business, taken enough vacations, taken good enough care of your body. Enough, man, that word runs away from most people most of the time. We're just seemingly genetically predisposed to be dissatisfied and critical of our own limitations. So this song for me is just kind of a deep breath and a contemplation of the possibility that I can put my head on my pillow tonight and feel good that today I have done enough. I don't know how often you put your head on the pillow and have that feeling. I almost never do. And so, as is the case with many of my songs, this one is smarter than me. So, before I sing it, thank you for coming. Thank you for staying. Hope you enjoyed the show. Those of you who can be here tomorrow morning, I look forward to singing for you some more and telling you some more stories. And I'll be back out the table for a little while before I go lay down and sleep a bit for tonight. And I'll see you again tomorrow morning. And if you're not coming tomorrow morning, thank you so much for coming out into a place that isn't your home away from home, because that's how this place feels, I know, for the community here. So I'm glad you're here. I know that the folks from this community are glad you're here, those of you who came from outside of Unity of Springfield. And I just wish you all the very best. I really am touched and appreciative of how kindly you've received me. And it's just been a wonderful evening for me, and I hope it has been for you too. If this is my last song, if this is my final day, if tomorrow I'll be gone, what do I want to say? If this is my last song, if it's my time to go, when my body's moved on, what will I have to show? Oh, but fortune and fame, they scatter to the wind. The things that make a name just don't matter in the end. But is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. If these are my last words for all of the earth to hear, if all that I have ever been is about to disappear, if these are my last words, there's nothing that I need to say. I have only tried to serve. It's never been about talking anyway. So much hurt there is to heal, it's hard to understand. All I can hope to feel is that I am doing Is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. Have I given hope to the hopeless? Has a hungry soul been fed? Has a child stood a little bit taller 'cause of something that I said? Have I left a little kindness? Have I eased a little pain? If so, then I'm glad I came. For that, I'm so glad I came. If this is my last song, what do I leave behind? What do I pass on if I am out of time? Good night, baby. Sleep tight, my love. May God watch over you from above. Tomorrow I'm working. What would I do? I'd be lost and lonely if not for you. This is a little Tom Petty song that I used to listen to and fall asleep to in my college dorm room. And now Jude falls asleep to my recording of it. So close your eyes. We're all right for now. I've spent my life traveling, spent my life free. I could not repay all you've done for me. So sleep tight, baby, unfurl your brow, and know I love you. We're all right for now. We're all right for now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.